If you're watching this video right now, there's a relationship or relationships in your life that are ready for your immediate focus, review, and attention. Because this video only shows up when, on some level, you have chosen to take decisive steps in regards to this relationship. And through the course of this conversation, I'm going to offer you some empowering reflections that you can consider for yourself, so that whatever steps you take forward from here in your life, they are rooted in your self-love as it is connected to this whole world. They are rooted in integrity and consideration for everyone involved. Now, I'm Danielle Lynn. I walk along these paths and I have heart-to-heart conversations with inspired creators such as yourself. I perceive that we are all here ultimately living our versions of a heart-inspired life, doing it in the various ways we know how, to the level of our understanding at any given moment. Now, whenever I create messages like this, I specifically tune in beforehand and I focus on who will be watching the video. You could say from that perspective, you and I are playing a little bit of a time game. So I invite you to check with your heart to see if this message is for you. And this will either feel like a yes or a sense of ease or a sense of curiosity, and then we'll dive in together. So one of the first things I'm going to offer to you about this situation is the relationship that is currently coming up as this highlighted relationship you're focusing on is ready for a level of transmutation. What that's going to look like to you may vary from individual person to person, but a common theme that I'm sensing is this is a pervading relationship, one that occupies a significant enough amount of your life energy and of your focus that this video was inspired to be created to offer these perspectives so that you could transmute that tight ball of focused energy into something that was constructive and uplifting for you and even for the other person and even for every single one of us involved, as we are all interconnected. And I perceive this is going to be deeply constructive because it will offer a foundational point of clarity in how we move through and with this situation that has your energy right now. So first things first, when I tune into this energy, this relationship, it's a strong one. Like, this is a very powerful bond. This is one that feels like it goes beyond what you might consider the scope of this lifetime. Like, perhaps even when you guys connected, there was that soul level of recognition. And I get the sense of whether you and this person have physically been in each other's lives for a long period of time already, or whether it's been a seemingly shorter period of time, there's already been a significant energetic impact on each other's lives. It feels, in a sense, like a type of entanglement, one that has certain energies that maybe even at this juncture you're ready to let go of. And to be clear, I'm not saying necessarily that you must let go of the person, but there is a way that you guys interconnect that has no longer or is no longer serving you. It's not serving you. It's not even nourishing the type of relationship you would ideally have with this person, with this being. I get the sense that you're already aware of this. Now, once again, keep in mind, this could be someone you are not currently talking to. Like, this may be someone you're interfacing with, but if you're tuning in and you think to yourself, I haven't been talking to anyone, if you have a energetic cord with someone, if you have conscious or unconscious focus on a person or on the nature of your relationship, then there is still something active there. If you would like to put this to a field test, here's the simple way. if you want to give this a go. So first things first, when you are in a place to do so, you take a breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. One more, in through the nose, allowing yourself to be present in the moment, out through the mouth. Now go ahead and allow yourself to picture this person, or picture this relationship, picture this thing. It could be someone that you're connected with now, or someone that you've maybe felt like you've long since forgotten, but when I said that right there, they popped up into your mind's eye. Now, feel how you feel right here. Did you feel a leap or a pang or a tingle? It doesn't have to be positive or negative. It could be felt as excitement or anxiety or tension or something. That feeling right there, that is the ding of the energetic cord, the energetic presence between you and this being right now. And even if you have a lot of time, distance, and space, even if this being was not currently physically on the planet right now, if that twang is existing, it is as real within you as anything else, as this cool tree right here. Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. Cameo. And so when we are remembering the twang, the energetic vibration or chord, it's very natural to feel like, oh, well, I gotta fix something with this person, or I gotta get them away. Or sometimes the mind races to attempt to resolve that energetic tension, because that twang, it's like a musical instrument. You create the noise because there is a certain degree of tension in the thread, and you twang it, and then it vibrates a certain way. So sometimes when the mind, the conscious mind, is aware of it, it seeks to resolve that tension with the other person. So you pay attention to the scenario, to the person, and perhaps that inspires you to think about it a lot. Perhaps you pull a lot of tarot cards about it, or you go visit YouTube channels and you click around and you attempt to find answers. Okay, well, this. So the first thing I'm going to share with you, and this is only for those who are truly, truly, truly a yes and to stepping forward in their most authentic relationship with this right now. Okay. We're about to step through a very powerful portal, a portal of clarity. All right. So now that you're aware of the tension or attention that is present between you and this person in the relationship, and I'm calling it a relationship because so long as there is energy present and you're relating to it, there is a relationship active. Whether or not you're actually interfacing directly with the other person currently right now, so long as that energy is active within you, there is an active field of relating present. And you feel it. You feel it physiologically. We just did an experiment where you imagined the person and you could feel it in your body. So from a very practical sense, it can seem as real as anything else. The dynamic that you continue to cultivate and perpetuate in every single moment with that person is the relationship. From the perspective of reality creation, that is the relationship. The stories that we tell ourselves about what may happen in the future is a game we play with ourselves to keep us in the loop of being hungry and perpetuating the current pattern. And there is a similar dynamic when it comes to these type of what I will describe as chase-fix relationships. When you want a relationship that is rooted in mutual respect and mutual love, the foundation of that comes at the place of how you begin and end the interactions. If it was my choice to be in a relationship rooted in excellent communication, integrity, and trust, and I noticed the person I was engaging with was avoidant and disconnecting, I would clearly state, well, this is what I'm interested in, to give them an opportunity to make a step. And if they were not ready, willing, able, understanding to make that step, I would very lovingly appreciate them for the journey. I would free my energy from that situation by releasing myself from the pattern of chasing or romanticizing the loop that I created with them, so that I could free my energy in order to be curious about a equally empowering, soul-fulfilling, ready now dynamic that I could co-create with a soul level person who is at the resonance and available now to connect with me. In other words, what I am saying is, if you look at the dynamic of the relationship as it is now, and you ask yourself, if it stayed this way eternally, is that a yes for me or a no for me? You have your answer. Some people feel hesitation to shift and step fully away from those relationships because they linger and hold out for the possibility of change, or there's a sense of the time spent, or there's simply just the real acknowledgement of love and connection present. Because someone may not be the resonant connection for you right now, and there is still love present. And this is where people are sometimes exploring this with a little bit of curiosity. Because love being present does not mean that this is the yes and connection for your heart. Our ability to envision a person to the exclusion of everyone else is one of our co-creative powers, and we have an equal amount of co-creative power to be able to say, that was beautiful, I respect it, I love it, and now I love you and me so much to see that this dance we are playing out is not the yes and. It's not. And I love you and me so much that I am ready to only meet us at the level of our awakened hearts, and not from a place where I'm expecting you to change, or I'm being mad, or I'm punishing, but from a level of, I love myself and you so much that I'm only interested in meeting and communicating at this level that is congruent for my heart, that is authentic to myself, that has clear communication, that is built on respect, and a genuine expression of love that is not rooted in playing out old dynamic patterns that tease us with love but never fulfill on the promise. In other words, I am complete with perpetuating pain with you and calling it love. And I love you that much. This invocation I shared with you is a version of the shorthand that I myself have applied in key relationships in my life, when I understood that neither of us was acting in accordance to our true heart yes self, and yet we were holding on out of projection and fear. Once I fully chose to engage only from the place of love, that is where things started to shift. And yes, indeed, that relationship shifted, but in great part because I let go of my attachment and expectation for this person to be something for me. Then I was able to genuinely love them as they are, and then authentically place that love in a way in my life that was honoring us both, which in my case for this relationship I'm referring to was no longer in my life. And this may sound like a paradox to people because they sometimes think love means I'm sticking by someone no matter what. I'm doing this, I'm doing this. When we participate in behaviors that they sometimes refer to as codependent with love, we are being dependent together. We are then no longer acting in our self-sovereignty. And from that perspective, as a vibration, it's impossible to genuinely love another so long as you are dependent on them for your sense of self. So the moment that you step into the reclamation of self, by no longer feeding into that pattern, you create a powerful energetic dynamic. And it may or may not feel at the time like a splitting, because you are no longer nourishing the old dynamic that you were once both feeding into. However, when you do this from love, there is always a platform offered that is coherent from the place of love, which then invites the other to explore for themselves if they want to take that step, or it frees them and you, so that you suddenly have the space to love with yourself, and if you prefer, to also attract someone who is on that same frequency level of yes and love. You stop losing and winning at that game when you stop playing the game. You no longer are a chaser. You no longer are a runner. You're no longer having to figure this whole thing out and there's no one for me and everything, because you stop playing that game at all. You give yourself permission to come into full heart coherence. And then as you do this and as you be this, you suddenly discover how natural love is for you. That first off, you don't require anyone external in order for you to directly experience the internal love. And you get to amplify that love with anyone and everyone externally in specific ways that you can co-create with others through friendships, through relationships, through partnerships, through business, through community, through family, whatever it is. But now you're not doing it any longer from a desperate place, from a strangled place, from a place where you're pretending that someone else is your salvation. Now you remember that you were your love all along. We tell ourselves many interesting stories, consciously and subconsciously, to attempt to navigate this world. But you have the consciousness right here, right now, to shift this outdated relationship dynamic, however it looks. Just so you understand, this can take many forms. You have the power to shift it right now. I'm going to offer you this perspective, and it came from The Mastery of Love by Don Miguel Ruiz. Profoundly wise book. I recommend it. And I flipped the book open to a random page when I was tuning into us today. And I recommend you do this with any of your books. You just hold it to your heart, breathe in, flip it open to a random page and go, this was for me. I find it works every time. So, when I opened up the book to this page, when I was inquiring about our conversation today and what the resonant step would be, I landed on the page about forgiveness. Because here's the thing. When you want to free yourself from any relationship at all, it begins and ends with forgiveness. Now, I talk about forgiveness a good deal, and I have a meditation on this channel and one in the lab that is on release and forgiveness. And people have told me time and time again how powerfully it works, so you could check those out if you like. I'll link them in the description. But I'll also share with you a tool you can simply use right now around forgiveness if you want to explore on your own. And what it is forgiveness is for you more than it is for anyone else. The tension you have locked in your body doesn't have anything to do with the other person. Forgiveness is natural to us, but we may have habitually trained ourselves out of forgiveness because we thought that by withholding forgiveness, we would somehow have things resolved. It's a very interesting paradox, because if you really zoom out, why have I not forgiven someone? It usually boils down to something like, well, what they did was unforgivable, or they need to learn their lesson, or I just can't, it's not fair. And something to understand is holding on to resentment or refusing forgiveness is simply a self-poison. It doesn't actually bring a person closer to the resolution. Even if what a person did or how they were was unforgivable, the forgiveness frees you from the tension. It frees you. My experience of this reality is every single one of us receives exactly what is ours, whether you perceive it as good or bad, this or that. Some might call it the law of karma, but I'm inviting you to look at this in a completely different way. It's not about retribution, it's not about good or bad, just that we all receive what we cultivate. While forgiveness cannot be forced, you can invite yourself into reconciliation within yourself, because that's really what you're doing. You're forgiving yourself for holding on some level. You're forgiving yourself for having this be present in your life as long as you have, but you're also forgiving, you are giving yourself freedom. Freedom from the twang and the attention and tension that was placed on this. And when you apply forgiveness, you actually transmute the entire relationship. And it's not that you're forgiving to try and change the other person, it's that you're forgiving and your frequency changes. And then the way you experience your reality changes and your energy frees up. And when we forgive, those experiences no longer have a place to hook onto us anymore. This is the key I'll share with you. What you resist persists. When you forgive, there is no longer a place for anything you once resisted to hook onto you. And in essence, you have become invisible and invincible to what was previously your challenge. You free yourself through this kind of self-honesty and self-vulnerability. If you would like to practice forgiveness, one of the ways you might explore is the Ho'oponopono prayer. Once again, I have a public video that walks through a portion of that, or you can check out the lab. You can also write down for yourself what you genuinely feel and start having internal conversations with yourself. Get curious. You won't find forgiveness by forcing yourself to forgive. But if you engage in consistent self-inquiry combined with love, gentleness, and persistence, then it is inevitable, my friend. And you are worthy of this kind of freedom. You indeed have the power to transmute any relationship. This isn't about just letting go of someone. This is about letting go of the dynamic in the relationship that you've outgrown. Sometimes you take this step and you actually become closer to this person because what you've let go of is the part that was outdated, the part that was toxic. And so I invite you to consider this exploration and this step and this video appearing in your life with a gentle curiosity and inquiry, with a persistent willingness to be real with yourself right now. Because my friend, it feels like you are at that kind of juncture where as you make this choice to be real with yourself, some of these other seemingly unrelated, unconnected doors that you've been knocking on will suddenly spring open. But this energetic fulcrum you're at right here, this is what's got your energy enough to create this moment. If you're watching this, you got this. That I know. And in all cases, my friend, it continues to be a joy and an honor to connect with you. As always, I got those super cool resources in my description link. I have some upcoming workshops soon at the time of recording this, so I invite you to get the flow book and be on the newsletter if you haven't already, so you can keep an eye out and an eye in. And in all cases, my friend, thank you for being amazing as you are, and I look forward to our next conversation.